Where is Property Onion going from here? Give us kind of where do you see Property Onion in 3 years? You know,
all right, so
expanding geographically.
We're going to make sure that none of our competitors or soon-to-be competitors can hear this. No, the fact is that, you know, we got 300,000 people that are subscribe to us free and paid, because we have a free side of our website as well. It's obviously limited, but whatever. And the competitive nature of me is, as I said, I don't know if I said it, but I'll say it again. My wife tells me I say it too. I'm 67 years of age, right? I reckon I got another 5 years of puff left in me. Okay,
puff.
Where I'm going to really want to hammer it. You know, I want to go out with a legacy. You know, and so I want to build the biggest foreclosure prop tech company in the US. And everything I've done, I've always said I want to be the biggest or die doing it, and I probably will. But here's the thing. That we've identified 14 states, including New York, California, New Jersey, you know, all the suspects, Texas, whatever. There are obviously different nuances to the way that the foreclosure system works in these states, but we believe that there is a need for this service. But on top of that, we're also going to be doing tax liens and tax deeds. We're going to be listing them as well. So that is a big side. And that's actually our academy teaches tax liens and tax deeds. Our academy will teach you how to buy one. The great thing about tax liens and tax deeds is, well, tax liens especially, is you can buy a tax lien for $50.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you'll get anywhere from 5 to 18% return on it. So it's not going to really, you know, make
change
your
life. Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, we taught a real estate investor how to buy tax liens and tax deeds. I won't mention his name, but he stuck $5 million into the market. In fact, one county, he emptied out all their tax liens.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He just went in there. He went in there like an institution.
I think that's an interesting business model too. Like,
it's fabulous.
Yeah, because I've bought a ton of tax liens over the years too.
Have you?
Believe it or not.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, me and a buddy of mine, we bought a bunch. And I think it's just, if you focus on it, again, back to like, you know, pick the thing.
Yeah.
Pick your side hustle, pick whatever. You focus on that, I think you can.
I mean, what's the danger in it? Isn't it safe?
Well, you
pretty
can
safe.
speak
to it
based on the law.
Yeah. No, it is.
It's a safe investment.
It is
secure.
In the most part, it is safe. But you've got to make sure that you buy a tax lien on a property that exists.
The right property. Yeah.
That exists.
So due diligence matters again.
Well, yeah. Go and have a look at it. You know, well, you know, if you're spending $50, don't bother. But you know, for instance, Miami-Dade is famous for issuing tax liens and tax deed sales on properties that don't exist. Because when a developer goes in and starts to go into build a condominium block, so they're going to have 200 that's maybe exaggeration, but they're going to have 100 condos, and they decide only to build 80. There's 20 condos that are at the appraiser's office that never got built, but they've got a tax ID, right? They don't get paid to go to become a tax deed, And if you actually go to our website, there's 2 stories on there that we actually have written about, and we actually crusaded with an attorney to go and take on Miami-Dade.
Yeah, they should have given that money back.
But they didn't. And it was actually a lady called Angelina Levy, I'll say that, and she's a school teacher. She used to teach, I think she's still teaching disadvantaged school children in Miami, and she put her life savings into 2 or 3 tax deed sale that didn't exist.
Wow.
She unfortunately didn't. You know, she wasn't well informed, and she lost all her money. And we went out, and they just didn't want to know. So you know,
there's so many stories of this. Like this is like
wow,
it's a thing, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
training again, education training, so important. Yeah. Don't just go blind into something. So
due diligence. And it is actually, you know, if you stick to your lane, and like everything else, it's your farm area. You know, when you buy foreclosures, there are different types of foreclosures that, you know, that you should stick to. I personally love land. Mm-hmm. When I was doing it, I love to buy land because obviously I've got a development company.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a great way of buying cheap land.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Well, on that note, we want to hear a little bit about your development experience and the most recent one in Delray. How many properties have you developed in, let's say, South Florida in the past 10 years? Have you done a handful?
No, I won't talk about what I bought, sold, and flipped because significant developments and redevelopments is about probably a dozen.
Okay. Awesome.
But I'm talking multi-million-dollar developments. We bought penthouses on Palm Beach Island. $7 million pieces of kit.
These are big deals.
Yeah, these are kind of big deals. I've gone off dealing with condominiums.
I understand.
Because
I get that. Yeah, smart man.
Yeah, when you buy a condominium, you should buy a year's supply of Tylenol.
Yeah, to deal with the board. Yeah,
to deal with the board, to deal with the building department. The condo commandos are fantastic.
Yeah,
you've got to always try and get them on your side if you're buying a condo.
For sure. Just kidding. I mean, something as simple as getting your vendors up and down an elevator during business hours, and then you can't work on certain days, and the banging and the noise and
But again, that's a unique experience. But lately, the last 5-6 years, and if you go to centennialinvestments.com and you go to I don't know if it's about us. It's on a drop down menu. You find probably about 8 years of video, 8 years of newsletters and videos. It chronicles all the deals that we've done.
Love it.
70 odd deals, I think it is.
Wow.
Cool. But that's not. But the actual out of the ground development, I've started about 6 or 7 years ago. I used to do that in LA. I used to build out the ground in LA. I also had an experience, or used to be experienced in buying shopping centers, but we did that, funny enough, in Kansas. That became my farm area. Kansas. I still do business out there. I love the way of life. When you fly into Kansas, your blood pressure just drops. And it's like, it's a bit manana-ish. It's always everything's tomorrow. Yeah. But I can live like that. Yeah. Building inspectors that don't turn up but sign off,
the complete opposite of here.
Yeah.
They show up and don't sign off.
And the recent I think the last 3 deals is I built a penthouse, redeveloped a penthouse, took it right back to the cement walls in Palm Beach Island, and redeveloped that. That was it was a $5 million purchase that we turned into a $7 million buy that is now worth $11 million. So we do a quality build. That's another thing, that everything we do when we build is quality, best materials, the best labor force. It's like my uncle used to say to me, if you're ill, you get the best doctor. If you've got a legal problem, you get the best lawyer. And financially, you get the best the best financial advice and the best accountants. And I do that with building. I get the best. I don't make the same margin as I should do, but I'm not looking for the last penny. I'm looking to sell a quality product.
That's who you want to do business
and
with.
Peace of mind too.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we
it minimizes the number of problems. Not that you'll not have problems. Every development, every project has problems. But when you're dealing with competent people, that's you're going to minimize the headaches. Well, so you're only half a bottle of Tylenol, not the full one. Yeah.
Well, exactly. And I used to actually, back in the day when I was doing my own projects, I used to have my own crew. That's another story, maybe for another podcast. I used to have but the thing is that you had to keep them employed all the time. And if you weren't buying enough, and again, don't want to get into that pressure of having to buy something to keep your crew busy, because that's when you make mistakes as well. So I was lending out the crew to other people, and it was just a nightmare. So I actually went through probably 3 or 4 GCs, contracting companies. And the funny thing about contracting companies is they're only as good as their last job. Sometimes you get into GCs where they do like 2 or 3 great jobs and then do a crap job, right? So you got to stay on top of them. You know, you got to be your own advocate.
You do have to be your own advocate.
But I must say, the last 2 deals I've done with I'll give them a shout out. Tester Construction, they're fantastic. They're one of the only companies where I've actually had a continuous week's sleep without having, and whenever there was a problem, they were on top of it. It was really, really good. And that's, as you said, make or break. Mm-hmm. General contractors will make or break you. So as I said, we did this development in Palm Beach Island, built this beautiful, this beautiful penthouse. Funny enough, actually, we put a $300,000. I always laugh. I put a $300,000 kitchen in there, countertops, everything, and the guy that bought it ripped it all out.
No way.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. So that teaches you something about that market.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then I've just finished 3 townhomes in Delray Beach on Southeast 2nd Street. Just sold one. 2 are still on the market. Been on the market a couple of months or 3 months. A lot of people sniffing around there, and so hopefully they get sold.
You have that video on your website?
Yeah, I got the last video that we've done.
That was a great video.
It actually tells the story of all the people that are involved, all the personalities, and then the second half of it, if you can stay awake, because it's 45 minutes, is shows you how we built it, and I go month by month for 18 months. But I mean,
really
you've got to
cool.
really love building, right?
No, but it's really that's really cool. I've never seen a video like that. They took the time to, Tony took the time to really chronicle everything. Yeah.
I think I said at the end of the video, the fact is that I hope that if you're thinking about getting into development or construction, whatever, that this has been some sort of guide for you. I gave it warts and all. I didn't give it just the beautiful lights and smoke and everything. I gave you, when there was a problem, I told you there was a problem. We couldn't find, there was a sewer pipe that we couldn't find and we had the county down and everything else, or the city down. We couldn't find this sewage pipe, and it was really, really, and we ended up like digging up the whole site. We eventually found it.
Wow.
They couldn't find it with all the machines. Anyway, so my recent thing is I've just bought something down on 6th Avenue. I bought a development, a commercial building that sits just off the Intracoastal, and you've got a view of the ocean when you go up 43 feet. And that's going to be probably one of my last deals, I think, because it's a big deal.
Big one?
It's 8 sky villas we're going to build, and 6,000 square feet of retail, and 5,000 or 6,000 square feet of offices. We've got Shane Ames is actually designing. In fact, I'm seeing him for dinner tonight. Probably the most expensive dinner I'll ever have this year. And it's a huge event. It's going to end up being
that's exciting.
Yeah, it's I think that we've costed it out about 50 million. That's what it's going to be.
Wow, that's a big project.
Yeah. It's a long way from buying a 2-bedroom apartment in London.
I like it. Yeah.
Awesome.
And selling teddy bears and cassette tapes. Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes.
That's great.
I like that.